Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are starting with the bare face today because we're going to be talking about hormonal acne. I would have acne prone skin, but especially during that time of the month, my skin always lets me know whenever it's coming, which is so nice of my skin to give me a little bit of a warning. So we have on this side of my face a little bit of a breakout. This was just spots and I got my little pincers out, which I shouldn't have. Please do not touch your face. It was the worst mistake ever because then it can scar, it can leave a red mark, which we have going on. This side of my face is fine, but it's just this side of my face that wanted to break out. I'm going to show you how I cover my breakouts, the redness, maybe some scarring. So if you want to see how I do that, then just keep on watching. We're going to start off with a powder. So the way I like to cover any breakouts, any redness, is always start with a powder because I find I need a little bit of longevity when it comes to covering any acne or breakouts, because the normal everyday routine just won't cut it. I kind of have to do an elevated version of my everyday routine. I don't want to cake on the makeup to cover. I want it to be as natural looking as possible, but I want to just say goodbye to this little situation here. So, also disclaimer, embrace your breakouts if you want to. You do not have to cover them, but for me, I prefer it. First off, I'm taking a translucent powder. This is a medical grade translucent powder, so it's really if you have extremely oily skin. You can only get it at skin clinics that sell DMK. I know in Canada, Australia, and the UK, there's lots of skin clinics that sell this, so if you can get your hands on the Actrol powder, I highly recommend it. If not, the Laura Mercier translucent powder is amazing, and it's what I used to use for this step. Really just a loose powder that doesn't have any proper color or coverage in it is ideal. So I have a little bit on my brush here. I'm gonna go over the areas that need the most concealing. So just up here and really right here. Hormonal acne is jawline. If you know, you know. It's the worst. You can even get it like on your neck. I have had pretty okay skin the last couple of weeks, but it's just every time of the month my skin just acts up, which it's inevitable at this point. So I'm also going to put a little bit on areas that I would produce a little bit more oil than I would like. Now, you probably think if I have any redness, any breakouts, acne, etc., you're going to want to take the fullest coverage foundation you can find, get your hands on. I urge you not to do that because you don't want to cover the rest of your face. The rest of my face doesn't have any prominent breakouts or acne or bad scarring, so I wouldn't want to cover my whole face because it's not my vibe. You totally can if you want to, but a nice medium coverage buildable foundation is key, I think. So the one I'm going to take is my NARS, my trusty NARS Sheer Glow in Punjab, and I'm just going to take it on the back of my hand. 2 pumps should be enough for now. And I'm going to take a beauty sponge. This is a Real Technique one, and I'm just going to lightly start dabbing all over my face. I want to do like a thin cover of this all over my face, and then I can go in and spot conceal or go in with another layer on areas that need a little bit more coverage. Also, you'll find because we put that layer of powder, it's gonna adhere to your face a little bit better, and I find that it just helps your makeup stay on longer. It reduces your oil production. It's just a little tip that I've learned from Wayne Goss, who is a professional makeup artist like years ago, and it's like my go-to long-lasting makeup trick. I'm sure you've seen it on my channel before, but if you have oily skin, acne prone, or just a bad breakout that you need covered and you need it to last all day, like your makeup, always put translucent powder under your foundation. So you can see one layer does a lot with evening out your skin tone. It will reduce any redness significantly. So because I have that as my first base, I'm only gonna go in with a little bit more. So I'm gonna take the smallest pump of the same foundation and just go over the areas that need maybe a little extra coverage. Lightly patting it on the areas that the redness is still poking through. Now for concealer, I don't want a super heavy, thick concealer, so I'm gonna take this Code 8 Seamless Cover Perfecting Concealer. It's in the shade NW15, and it's pretty similar to the shade of my skin. When it first goes on, it looks a little light, but it does darken a little bit. So I'm just gonna put it on areas. Again, the redness is still popping through. I'm also gonna put a little bit under my eyes, very small amount to get rid of any darkness. Find using the lightest hand with this beauty sponge doesn't remove too much of the makeup that we just put on, So you're really just blending it in rather than taking some off. Happy with that base. I'm actually going to take a little bit of a brightening concealer for under my eyes and mix it in with the one that I haven't blended out yet. This is the Note Full Coverage Concealer, although I don't find it very full coverage. It is very brightening though. It's in the shade 02 Beige. I'm going to quickly just pop it in there. You can see it's very brightening, where the other one kind of blends in with my skin. This concealer, however, I've mentioned before, I like to set my concealer a little bit before blending it out. This one, I feel like you gotta work with pretty quickly or else it kind of sets weird, but it blends out beautifully and it really does brighten under your eyes. I'm gonna take whatever was left on my powder brush and just push that into under my eyes. I don't want it to be super heavy, full coverage. For the rest of my face, this is something you can skip if you feel like you have enough coverage going on and you're not too oily of skin. This is the MAC Studio Fix. It's in the shade NW22. I'm not gonna take a lot. I'm just gonna brush it on and tap it off. And this is just like my security layer. Like, this will just make sure nothing budges. I find whenever you use like a cream product, especially when it comes to base, I just need to overall set it. It's like my insurance that it won't move for the rest of the day. Now moving on to the rest of our face, I already did my brows and my eyelashes because it's not a full face tutorial. It really was a base tutorial, but I wanted to show you the bronzer and blush I use. I find when I've done this many steps on my base, obviously it's going to be the most time consuming step. I want it to look as skin-like as possible, even though I had a couple of layers more than my usual everyday makeup look. We're going to take my Huda Beauty Fair Tantour Bronzing Cream. Little goes a long way with this, guys, so I keep telling myself this and then I always use too much. I'm going to use the round side of my beauty sponge, dab it in. Be very light-handed with this, as you see. There is a lot of pigmentation. This product in particular is beautiful. It's also a lot darker than you think. This is the lightest shade and it's quite bronzing, but it works really beautiful on top of powders. Like, I feel like I don't have to even put a powder bronzer on top after. It just kind of melts into your skin. So it's my go-to whenever I've done a couple of layers and I need a little bit of definition to my face, a little bit of bronziness. This is like the perfect way to go because I'm dabbing it on. I'm not moving anything. It just kind of goes perfectly on top without interrupting any of the hard work we just did. I put a little bit in my eye socket as well. Run it quickly over my nose just for a little bit more of a sun-kissed look, but I'm happy with that. Now for blush, same thing. I'm going to take a Stila cream blush in Petunia. Really pretty shade, like it's going to really give a pop to the cheek. So find another area on your sponge that hasn't been used. And I'm just going to dab it in. I'm going to start at the very top of my cheek, right at my temple, and bring it down to the apple of my cheek. And it gives a healthy glow as well. I find whenever you have texture, especially on this area of your cheek, which on this side I do, this side I don't, so obviously I'd be okay putting a highlighter, but then I wouldn't feel okay putting a highlighter here because there's texture there, and anything with like sheen, glitter is just going to attract it, where this blush has obviously a soft glow to it, but it's not gonna really scream, look at me, I'm a big zit. So it just is a little bit more of a subtle way to give dimension and glow to your face without adding an actual highlighter. Super natural, still a little bit of glow because I know it seems scary putting all those original base layers on. That's why I think it's so important to use like a cream bronzer or a cream blush, just to give a little bit of dimension back into the face glow wise, and also like it gives a little bit more of a skin-like appearance because no one has a perfectly matte face. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this video super helpful. Let me know some of your tips and tricks for covering any once a month breakouts or breakouts in general. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I'll see you soon. Bye.